Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to big episode 150 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the lovely Elle Jetsam. Hello, sir.
Hello, friends and enemies.
So we have to apologize about last week, folks. I had a bout of insomnia the night before we were supposed to record. I got no sleep, and so I could not do a show, or I would have lost my mind. So we, especially being 150.
Yeah, we needed it to be
This is big time. This is big time. So we got a special show set up for you folks. First off, if it's your first time listening, please go to nerdpodgen.com. There are links to Spotify, YouTube, pretty much everywhere we have a show. Everywhere we have anything. There's links to Al's personal stuff, my personal stuff. Get a little rundown of who we are and what we do. Make sure to go to YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the podcast. That's very important. And then listen to the back catalog.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's a good show.
This is going to be a good show.
This is going to be a very good show.
Very special.
Well, this is one of our fun special episodes.
Yes, and I'm excited for this idea, which is kind of both of our ideas.
Yeah, we just fired things back and forth at each other, trying to figure out what we wanted to do.
And I think we got a sweet spot.
I think we hit something good.
So we're going to start with our watch, play, read.
Yes.
And then you won't notice this, but we will take a minor break.
Yes.
To enjoy a few beverages or something to make ourselves loosen up a little bit.
There's going to be an inebriated state
a little bit
involved.
And then we're going to do a little trivia.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And then the lovely Kelly will be joining us to ask us trivia questions herself.
Yes.
So we are very excited about this.
It's going to be a good show.
Oh, I can't
And on
wait.
top of that, we still get to do our ranting and raving because D23 was last week, and baby boy.
That's a bunch of D, all right. So we are going to start with what have you been watching, playing, reading? I got so much. So my son and I have been on our Marvel journey still.
The groan.
Trying to get it all in before which is impossible, but we've gotten a lot in over the summer before he has to go back to school. So we started off watching The Falcon and Winter Soldier, which we watched the entire first season, which is the only season they have so far. Loved it. I forgot how much I loved that show.
Yeah.
It really was very well done. Wyatt Russell was great. Everything about it was great. And I really forgot how much I enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
Even the Sharon Carter stuff that we groan about, it wasn't as much as I remembered.
See, that's still my number one. It ruins everything for me to have this be what they decided to do.
But it was, like I said, I don't know if I just remembered it incorrectly of there being more of her. There was much less than I remember.
Oh, that's my issue. My issue is that they deliver us the central premise that Sharon was not snapped.
Yes.
Has spent the last 5 years in Madripoor.
Yes.
And during that entire time and before, since Cap went on the run after Civil War, he has just fully dumped Sharon.
Yeah.
Doesn't talk to her, doesn't make contact with her, doesn't do anything with her, to the point where she hates him.
Yes.
Because he's just bailed out on her. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
What? And I was praying that it was going to end up that she was a Skrull or some stupid nonsense like that. No, this is the story. This is the story that they've decided to go with. This is unforgivable as far as bad writing goes. The rest of the show, great. I love it. But this has to be a markdown for this decision.
Yeah, except for the fact that the one episode she was the primary in had some really great action set pieces when they're like trying to find the lab and they're in the shipping crates, and even with her kicking, like that was really great action.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's the thing I take away from this is the action in this show was awesome.
Yeah,
and it was and I did like the interactions between Bucky and Sam. It was like everything was great, and even the Zemo part, he was like. This is if they could have started this as the Zemo and then built him up to what he should be.
Yeah,
I would have been much better than what we got in Civil War and then this.
Yeah,
because this was great. Like he was awesome.
Well, we got full sock face.
Yeah,
and that to me was one of the most important things. Was that we got an actual version of Helmet Zemo that is something of a mad genius.
Yeah,
with a spite on for the entire world, and just. I wish that they had tuned up elements of that show better, because the central premise of the show I love, because it's the only time we ever talk about the snap.
Yep.
Is that the world changed, lines were redrawn, nations were brought together, and suddenly they want to reset the board back to before all that. And the people that survived the snap were like, fuck that. No, we spent 5 years putting the world back together. And then you came back, and now you wanted it the way that it was. And they never touch on that premise ever again.
Well, and the only fault I really would throw at this show that is the fault of a lot of the Disney TV shows is there's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
It's really hard, even though they're hour long, so it is 6 hours of content. They were trying to tell a very
big
intricate story,
yeah.
and they did it in 6 episodes. So that was my only thing. Even my son, he's like, "Oh, this is the last episode." I was like,
"Yeah." And
I don't know if there'll be another.
Well, that's what Brave New World is.
It
Brave
is.
New World is supposed to be the next iteration. They haven't said that, this version of Captain America is going to be coming back.
Yeah.
They've just said Brave New World is our next thing, and then after that, the next thing we have him in is Avengers related.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's going to be another season.
I don't think there is.
I don't think any of these things that have been brought up are going to be reconciled in any way. I think Marvel is going to do what they've been doing for the last 3 years, having survived the political environment of the last 10 years. I very fervently say, when someone tells you who they are and what they're going to do,
believe them.
Just fucking believe them.
Yep, I agree.
Don't try and mince their words or cover up or say, oh, they meant that. No, this is what they said. This is what they meant. And Marvel has told us again and again and again that they don't care about the hardline fans. They are not interested in expanding on any of these various things that are just kind of hanging out there. They're just going to keep going the road. And literally the only thing that can make them stop is a cataclysmic Deadpool and Wolverine inverse, where it's like such a crash, where they pour time and money and advertising and all this stuff into it, and people canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions because of this movie. That's the only thing that's going to change anything, because what we were talking about with Deadpool and Wolverine, they go out, they make a good thing, and they learn the exact wrong lesson. And the same day, they bring in RDJ as Doom. You haven't learned a goddamn thing.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. And rolling to that, the next thing we watched was season 1 of Loki. So I remember when I first watched season 1 of Loki, I was kind of torn. But after watching it the second time, it really sucked.
I just got nothing out of it.
It's not, don't call it Loki, because it's not Loki.
Well, and it's this weird amorphous figure now.
Yeah.
Where Loki in the comics began as the god of mischief. So he just fucked around for the sake of fucking around. I'm going to give the Wrecker Thor's power because fuck it. Because it's funny. It's funny to me. And then he became the god of evil, eventually. And then they tried to reboot him a few times since then. And whether it's female Loki, whether it's kid Loki, there's been so many different versions. But they can't figure out how to actually use Loki.
No.
Because he has to be villainous. Otherwise, he's not true to the nature of the character.
Yes.
But they try and make him this charismatic anti-hero, but he's not that either.
No.
And so he's still, the only way that he's Loki is that he's self-serving. But now they're moving away from even that, where Loki is self-sacrificing now.
Yeah.
In order to save the multiverse or whatever nonsense.
It's like, that's not fucking Loki.
This is what I'm saying. It's like they don't know what to do. They can't have him be heroic. They can't have him be a true villain. Because, I mean, like, in my IMHO, as the kids say, you can have him be a villain.
He is a villain.
He should be a villain.
Yes, he's 100% a villain.
He should be a recurring menace.
Being Marvel, they would need to kill him off.
No. I'm saying you break entirely from the Marvel method, which is why they can't do it.
No, exactly.
Because the best thing that they could do with Loki is have him be this floating puck trickster character who comes in and out of the plot and shows up at inconvenient times. And the heroes are always pleading with him to help. And it's not until it's in his best interest that he helps. Like, that's what Loki should be, and they don't know how to make that happen. But, like, me and Kelly went to see Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. Just looking at how Ryan Reynolds knows how to use the TVA, when Kevin so very clearly has no idea what to do. He has this idea, this conceit, and he just doesn't know how to operate it. And he's like some kind of bumbling Forge from the X-Men, where Forge just needs to think about something and he can invent anything. This is a version of Forge where he can think of something and he gets really excited about the idea, but he has no idea how to build it. And I just wish he would get out of the way and let actually talented artistic people make decisions on his behalf.
I think it might have been a one-off. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, you think?
1,000%.
You think?
Well, I take that back because
no, don't take it back. You're right.
No.
Don't backtrack when you're right.
Because the first one-off I would put money on was Werewolf by Night, because there's nothing about that TV movie / whatever you want to call it that had the fingerprint of Marvel on it.
It has some Marvel humor.
There's some bit.
Really, when they open up the corpse and play him like an organ, there's some serious Marvel humor in there.
But like limited compared to what normally they put out.
Comparatively, but there were also some of the side characters, like the former wife and weird hangers-on.
See, I love that though. I
didn't dislike it, but I think it falls within the Marvel purview. Like, this is what they do, is they have these hangers-on characters who make all the jokes and all the laughs and all the yucks, and nothing's to be taken too seriously. And then there's, like, one big moment of triumph where the fans are like, here, we got there. Whereas Deadpool and Wolverine, what it does is just trash Marvel the entire way through. And then it trashes Fox. And then it turns around and says, we are the fans.
Yes.
The entire thing with Elektra and Blade, where they just want an end to their story.
Yeah.
That's a meta commentary on so many different things, where this universe is ending because they can't make Wolverine movies anymore. The meta commentary is pitch perfect.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's an element that has not been in Marvel movies in a long time, because it's reminiscent to me of the height of Phase 2, when they were taking genres and kind of just mixing genres together. And so you had Guardians, and you had Winter Soldier, and you had Civil War, and you had Doctor Strange, although that still falls really into the Marvel method pretty deeply. Loki season 1 to me was always... It lost me when he finds out that Asgard is destroyed, and he's like, oh, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is the version of Loki that hasn't lost his mother yet. And he's shown all that with his mother dying, and that works. We get there. But then he finds out that Asgard dies, and he's like, I don't fucking care about that. And I'm like, you wanted to be king of Asgard for fucking ever.
Yeah, that's all you wanted.
That's all you've ever wanted. And now your kingdom is gone. You're just like, I guess I didn't care about it after all. What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to watching season 2.
Luckily, still haven't watched it.
That's far down the line in our Marvel journey. So after Loki, we did watch, and I don't think we need to beat this too much to death, Black Widow.
Whew. Was it better?
Well, here's the thing. If you remember, my initial one is I liked it.
You didn't hate it.
I still hated Taskmaster.
I
hated Taskmaster. I still take Taskmaster out. I still enjoyed it.
How can you take Taskmaster out
because
of that movie?
It's
that's like saying we're just going to remove David Harbour from this movie. No, he's like an integral part of the entire movie. Taskmaster is literally the MacGuffin of Black Widow's guild.
Yes,
it's a physical embodiment of Black Widow's guild.
The thing I think I was trying to when we were watching it, I'm like, why did I like this movie? Why do I like this movie? It is Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson's interaction with each other. is so great.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining. Florence Pugh is fantastic.
Florence Pugh is really good.
She's so good.
Unlike
and
a
so
lot
is
of...
Rachel Weisz. She's very good. I liked her. I really liked her.
Listen, I love Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
I love Rachel Weisz.
I mean, she's not in it a lot.
Well, she's not very good in the parts that she is in. And the acting is very touch and go. This
it's
smacks
the accent's
heavily.
a little touch
well,
and go.
It has big Jeremy Irons in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh God!
I use this to pay for a castle. You know,
the
like
one with Marlon Wayans, right?
Oh God, man, it's atrocious. Bad. But like I love Rachel Weisz. I think she's an excellent actress, and when I watch her in this, I can just see her being like, I do not care. They want me for this role. They are willing to pay me a lot of money to do it.
I'm wondering if she's in Thunderbolts, even in a small role.
I can't imagine that she is.
I don't know. They left it kind of open for like her and David Harbour being...
Well, David Harbour is in Thunderbolts.
Well, I know he is, but I'm saying at the end of Black Widow, they made it out to like maybe they would be an item again.
Oh, like a family
Like
again.
a family.
Okay.
At least the two of them.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know if she'll be in it, even in a small component.
Let's look back at the clock. What happened to Jane Foster after Thor: The Dark Thor? There was this long period where people would ask Thor about Jane.
Portman saying, "I don't want to fucking be second fiddle."
But this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, I think it was also Natalie Portman saying that she didn't want to be in these terrible movies anymore. Because like I have fondness for the first Thor.
She comes back for one of the worst fucking ones, Thor: Love and Thunder.
I know. Well, see, that to me tells me that she's a director looking to get money to finance a project.
Oh yeah,
that's what that was to me.
That makes sense.
And so whatever movie she just came out with, The Woman in the Lake or whatever it is, that was basically just financed by Thor: Love and Thunder. I think I look at all of this with Black Widow, and my complaint is still the same as it always was. You had the perfect story. It was right in front of you. Yep. You didn't have to do anything. You had to cast an interesting, charismatic, comedic type. Not a comedian, but a comedic type who has timing and ability. You cast him as Taskmaster. I can think of a few. There's Aldous Hodge, who is now going to be Wonder Man.
Oh, yeah?
There's... I can't remember his name, but he was in The Matrix as the new Morpheus.
Yes, I know.
He could have been Taskmaster. Like, these are guys that have the chops and the ability and the timing to be this character. It's a badass character anybody would love to play if you did it well. And his whole plot could just be that he's reestablishing the Red Room and mentally controlling all the widows to do so. It's perfect. You don't need to do all this nonsense with Ramanovanovanovanov's daughter. Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, that was... And that reveal, too, it's even to this point, I was like... Because I was enjoying the movie, and I knew the reveal was coming. And when the reveal hit, I was like...
This is bullshit.
This is stupid.
And while we're on it, did you see the costume?
Oh, it looks
Did
horrible.
You see the... Holy shit. I didn't think it could get worse.
No.
Like, I saw people talking like, oh, I like the Taskmaster costume. Immediate tell that you have no understanding of anything that means anything in this universe. You haven't watched anything besides Black Widow. You saw him here and you were like, I like the motorcycle helmet. That's cool. Yeah. It's bullshit.
But at least this one looked in the ballpark of what Taskmaster should look like, not the new one, which is not even on the same planet.
I don't even know what this is.
I don't know what it is either.
Are they going to fix it in post? How Marvel of them to fix it in post. But it looks...
I don't know how you could.
Horrible.
It looks terrible.
It's like original Green Goblin. Not original steroids. Green Goblin. Yes. The original Green Goblin was a great prosthetic that they ended up thinking was too scary for kids. You were wrong. You should have stuck with it.
Should have absolutely stuck with it.
The Power Rangers Green Goblin, like, it's that level of bad.
So bad.
Where there are going to be some people that defend it and they're like, oh, but it's so cool. It's so sleek. No, this is garbage.
Yeah.
This is a garbage. It looks like she's in a Day of the Dead parade.
Yeah.
You know, it's so bad.
Oh, it's
so bad.
Well, we're going to get into that with the D23 stuff, which we were going to talk about D23. Just crushing through a couple real quick. So we were working towards Shang Chi.
Yes.
And I said to my son, we still have not. I don't know if he was just scared of the Hulk and Abomination, because the Hulk, it has some moments, can be.
Yeah.
It's a monster movie. So we never watched The Incredible Hulk, which is technically number 2 in the MCU movie thing. So we had to watch the Hulk.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
It is?
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely. So we watched The Incredible Hulk. I am grateful that they recast Edward Norton for Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo plays a much better Bruce Banner. There are parts I like. I like the Hulk. I like the Emil Blonsky when he gets the super serum and he first goes after him.
I love that scene.
It starts to go downhill when they go to New York City. Because, I feel like it had a different tone. Once again, we're not going to talk about Doc Samson. That's still laughably bad. When they go to New York City and they have the big CGI fight at the end. We'll talk about this with Shang-Chi. I like that they did change the Abomination's look.
Yes.
In Shang-Chi. Because, I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, it's all right. That whole fight was okay. It wasn't great.
But he didn't look like the Abomination.
No.
And he didn't look like they were trying to go for some, Desert War Hulk.
Yeah.
Where he just is spiky and tan and rough.
Yeah, and I was not a real fan. And so that's the thing I really got, because it's been a while since I've seen it. I love the beginning of that movie, The Incredible Hulk. The beginning when they're in Brazil is so fucking good.
I love, almost all of that movie.
Yeah.
That's
so fucking good.
That's a movie where, when they go back to it in What If, which we'll get to, I was so elated that scene was in What If, because it's one of my favorite scenes in any Marvel movie, is just Thunderbolt Ross going after this
dude at the university,
Georgetown or Maryland or wherever it is.
Yes.
Just going ham.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. And I love elements of them in New York. I love Betty in the cab screaming at the cabbie.
So yes, some of the more human. I think it was a little too CGI heavy.
Yeah, when we get to the battle in Harlem.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still moments that I like in that, but God help me, I love seeing them run across the tops of buildings. I just love it. I know it's crazy. I know it's too much, but I just love it. I love it so much. I can't help myself.
And Ethan did, my son, I know you will cringe at this. He loved when you see the guy that is the principal in Spider-Man Homecoming.
No. Ethan is right. Marvel is wrong. This is something that I've been saying since the beginning. If you're going to cast Martin Starr in this movie, you better have him be talking to someone about that time Bruce Banner delivered him a pizza. Yes. And they're like, that never happened. Dude, that never happened. It should be a thing. And they never did it. Yeah. And it makes me so mad.
Because Ethan was like, wait,
yeah,
is that? I'm like, yes.
That guy, when he was a grad student, he had a pizza delivered to him by Bruce Banner. He let Bruce Banner into a lab.
Yes.
That's a huge story that he should be telling people.
But that was that he got a big kick out of that, and I loved seeing Lou Ferrigno. I love that scene. But no, that beginning part, and you're right. It's a nitpicky thing with the CGI, but once again, I didn't like how they did the Abomination. I loved the Emil Blonsky with the super serum. That's
such a good scene.
It's so awesome.
So fucking good.
Because I love how they make him just so badass, where he's staring face to face with the Hulk and says, "Is that all you got?"
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
And it does this amazing thing that Marvel doesn't do anymore, which I wish they would, where they introduce this character, which we don't really have any feeling about him.
No.
He's an antagonist to our hero, but we don't dislike him. And then he starts pulling off these things on the hero, and you're like, dude.
Yeah.
And then he gets fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, that was nice. He's gone now. And then he comes back, and you're like, dude.
This is different.
This is gonna be bad.
This is fucking different.
This is getting bad real fast.
And I do have to give it high marks once again for having the Lonely Man theme at one point in the movie. I'm like, okay, that's the fucking.
They knew when to do fan service.
And even they have God, why can't I remember his name? The reporter from the TV show was a student on the campus, and he was a journalism student.
Oh, from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No. From the old Hulk TV show.
Oh.
The reporter that's always hunting after Bruce Banner. He's a student, and he's a journalist student, and they said that they said his name on the news broadcast.
Yeah, he's the one that pulls out his phone.
Yes, and I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's the little fan service. Because, I mean, how many people that saw that movie never saw the fucking TV show? But those of us that did. And even the beginning when they're showing him going through the experiment that turns him into the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's exactly like from the TV show. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
That was another thing. Is that Spider-Man is over here pounding its chest being like, we didn't do an origin. No. You did the most prolapsed origin of all time. It took you 5.5 movies to do his origin. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. But everybody's like, they never did it. No. They never showed the spider bite. Yeah. You want to talk about somebody not doing the origin? That's this movie. This movie alludes to the origin and moves on. Yep. It says, you know what the Hulk is. We know what the Hulk is. Everybody knows what the Hulk is. We're not going to spend any time on it. And it's not like it's all about Bruce coming to grips with his new powers, which is exactly what Homecoming and every other fucking movie on that line is about.
Because really, we're introduced to Spider-Man in the MCU, was it 6 months after he got his powers?
Something like that. So, I mean,
come on now.
Which I still attest is twice as long as some of the best Spider-Man I've ever seen. Some of the best Spider-Man I've ever seen have had their powers for 3 months canonically within the narrative, and they are decades ahead of Tom Holland.
Well, because they made him stupid.
This is what I'm saying!
Because he's got a frog in his mouth.
Yeah.
So after that, we did go on from there to What If, Season 1. Son loved it. There were parts I liked. Once again, there were parts I didn't quite love.
It doesn't always land. No. There's moments where you really want it to land, and it just doesn't get there. But then there's moments where it does.
Yeah.
That still has one of my favorite portrayals of Hawkeye ever in that Age of Ultron episode, where he just shows up with the mechanical arm, and he just takes off the invisibility cloak and just... and takes out 5 Ultrons. And it's like, that's fucking Hawkeye. The Hawkeye who jumps into the silo at the end of that episode. That's fucking Hawkeye.
What's the episode I'm thinking of? That? Because I remember watching it going, oh my God, this is so freaking beautiful.
Beyond what we've already talked about, where there's just a few moments that don't land. I'm looking at a lot of the stuff with T'Challa as Star-Lord. A lot of that stuff just doesn't land. It just doesn't work. And the whole skipping of Gamora on Trash Planet.
Oh.
Sakaar.
The one where what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was such a beautifully deep episode.
That was better than the original Doctor Strange
movie. By far.
I really don't like the original movie, and that really nailed a lot of the premises of Doctor Strange as a character.
Like, I'm watching it going, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is... like, absolutely heartbreaking. And it keeps going. Like, you see him keep trying and trying, and she keeps
dying. It gets further and further down the rabbit hole.
Dude.
And as we see in Season 2, he never actually leaves the rabbit hole.
No.
He says that he's going to move out. He has all of his bags packed, but he never leaves.
Never leaves. Oh, Jack McGee is the name of the journalist from The Incredible Hulk. That's right. So finally...
Oh, I did want to interject really quick. They have announced that the season 3 of What If will also be the last season of What If. Because when Marvel does have something that works even 50% of the time, we can't enjoy it.
No.
We're going to get more Miss Marvel. We're going to get all these other things. Going to get Agatha Harkness.
Oh, God. We're going to rant about that in a minute. So real quick to end up my watch, play, read. We did finish with Shang Chi. Which... I do believe maybe my son's favorite because for those who know, my son takes Kung Fu. So he watched that with his eyes just like sausage. Big. Same as the last time. I adore that movie
until Trevor shows up.
Until you see Trevor. And then it truly goes down. And I even slightly tolerated Awkwafina until I'm going to pick up a bow and kill the main creature in like 5 hours of learning how to shoot a bow. Immediately
gets it.
It was So fucking bad.
And
but I'm so glad we watched the Hulk, though, because when that scene showed up where they go to the fight and you see the Abomination fighting Wong, I thought my son was going to die. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, that's Wong! Like, he's losing his mind.
Yeah, that's where we all were.
Yeah.
We all were when we saw that in the trailer. We were like, holy shit, they're going to do it. Because we had hope and optimism at this point. And then we met Trevor again, and we were like, oh, this is going to be it. And then I like the magical village, but at the same time, the logic of it doesn't work within the body of the film.
Just like anything else.
It's super rushed. And then they also revealed the dragon surprise in like a million forms beforehand, so that was nothing. And it just I want to like this movie so bad. Yeah. But it just keeps you at arm's length with some of these decisions.
It really is literally the first half.
Yeah.
As soon as they get...
I love that fight in Hong Kong.
Oh,
on the side of the building.
Dude, so
That's
good.
like right out of Jackie Chan.
So
good.
Well, and then you have I can't remember the name of the ninja that trains him, who has the white mask.
Yeah, they say his name. They don't give him a character. Remember. He is a character in the comics,
but like he's a badass character. He's reminiscent of the German guy filled with sand in Hellboy.
Yeah.
But like his death is so literally
nothing.
One of those CGI creatures grabs him and sucks his soul out, and you're like, dude, you made him out to be this incredible badass that no one can beat, including Shang-Chi.
His name is Death Dealer, and this is how you end his arc.
Death Dealer got
fucking deaded.
He got the full Darth Maul, let's say, and it's like, how are you going to kill him off so stupid?
And to basically just prove a point. Just to like give a example of like, if these things touch you, they'll steal your soul.
Yeah.
And like that was it. That you could have had any red shirt die to show us that.
And that's the thing, is they already had a few red shirts die and show us that. So it's like he wasn't even the first one.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the fuck would you?
This is
like,
nonsense.
It was so dumb. And it was really a regurgitated CGI mess at the end.
Yeah, it got real
really
CGI heavy.
It's a shame because that first half is so fucking good.
The fight on the bus is really good.
Fight on the bus, the fight, and even the interactions between him and her and Awkwafina's family.
Yeah,
and their interactions with her friend, and like
the way that they tell stories together.
It was awesome.
There's a lot of charisma.
Yes,
and
even the backstory where you get to see the Mandarin fighting their mother. In that beautiful like crouching tiger like scene in the woods, it's like, dude, that's so good.
Yeah, no, they
fucking ruined it.
The end of that, it just got way away from them, so far away from them.
So that's the end of my Marvel saga.
Yeah, woo!
We're still working. I think. What did I say? The next thing we have is the Eternals. So.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck. I still can't get over that they fixed adamantium, and that everybody's like, "Oh yeah, this makes sense."
Yeah,
no. You're idiots. You fucking are so dumb.
It's so dumb.
I can't even deal with you. The other thing that I love Deadpool 2, or Deadpool, I do love Deadpool 2, but Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, I love it, and I get it. It's out of his hands. His hands are tied. He doesn't get to make a decision on this. There have been so many more people referring to the MCU as Earth 616. And it makes me want to throw things like through the screen of my computer at people because it makes me so mad. The entire point of multiversal Earth numberings is specifically so you can keep them separate. Crazy notion, I know. So you can't have 616. That number is taken. And when asked what number you want, you chose 19999999997 or some bullshit nonsense. And it's like, you could have done 822. You could have done 301. You could have done whatever the fucking zip code is in California for the Marvel Studios. But you had to do this. Why, Kevin? Why the fuck are we doing this? Anyway.
Too much power.